Volume 2 of the third year arc gave us a really big surprise, because Ayanokoji, who is almost emotionless and considers everyone as a tool, finally develops a genuine romantic feeling for Shiina Hiyori. It was a real surprise and a really sudden development, but before we start to celebrate, it's better to take a step back and wonder how this relationship will end. It's not like it's impossible for them to be together forever, but since this is not a romance story, and the main character is none other than Ayanokoji, it's naive to think there will be a happy ending for them. I could even say that there is a pretty high chance for their relationship to go worse, or even end up with a tragic ending. In fact, there are a few hints that already foreshadow the end of their relationship to be a tragic one. So, let's take a look at it one by one. Ayanokoji and Hiyori's first direct encounter happened in Volume 7 of the first year arc, where Hiyori was trying to fix the misplaced book in the library. From their first conversation, there are 3 books that were mentioned, and by some strange coincidence, all those 3 books have one similarity, which is a tragic ending. Wuthering Heights ended with the main couple die at the end. Farewell My Lovely ended with the main antagonist committing suicide, and Whose Body ended with a grim reality hidden behind the bright facade of London. It might be too far-fetched to conclude that Ayanokoji and Hiyori's relationship will get a tragic ending just because of that, but believe it or not, there are a few similarities between those novels' stories and Ayanokoji's story, especially Farewell My Lovely. The main antagonist from Farewell My Lovely is the main source of tragedy. Her manipulative and murderous nature is the cause of the death of her former lover. After causing significant harm and loss, she ended up getting cornered, and finally chose to take her own life. Whether it's a coincidence or not, the main antagonist has a similar nature to Ayanokoji. Ayanokoji is manipulative, and also the main source of tragedy. And while it's not happened yet, getting cornered by a lot of people and ended up taking his own life sounds like a really suitable ending for Ayanokoji. In fact, the purpose of Ayanokoji's entire plan for the 4-class battle is none other than to make him taste defeat, even if he needs to cause significant harm and loss for his goal. And now let's take a look at the main antagonist's lover. In Farewell My Lovely, Malloy was betrayed by his lover and sent to prison. After he got out, he wanted to search for the woman he loved, but after confronting her, he was killed by the woman he loved. Thankfully, Malloy and Hiyori don't really have any similarity, or at least, not yet. However, there is a chance that Hiyori is currently undergoing the same path as Malloy. Malloy was betrayed by his lover, and from the latest volume, Ayanokoji made a statement that he wanted to break him and Hiyori piece by piece for the search of love, which could mean that he has a nasty intention toward Hiyori. If Hiyori is somehow betrayed by Ayanokoji, it will make sense that Hiyori will use that betrayal as her motivation and finally decide to fight Ayanokoji. Hiyori quote from the third year website made it clear that she will end up opposing Ayanokoji, and when she said there is a way that only she can do, she probably talking about Ayanokoji's romantic feelings toward her. However, what will happen after that is the scary part. Malloy was killed after he confronted his former lover, and if Hiyori really manages to manipulate Ayanokoji's feelings, then what Ayanokoji would do to her might not be so good to imagine. Using Ayanokoji's own feelings to fight him is definitely something worth to see, because even Ayanokoji himself said that he welcomes being deceived. However, it's hard to think that it will be enough to take him down. In the end, Malloy dies in the hand of his former lover, and if Ayanokoji really wanted to experiment with his feelings, the possibility of him expelling Hiyori just to see how he feels is not small by any means. Hiyori wouldn't survive if she were alone, so she will need more allies to help and protect her. In Farewell My Lovely, Malloy asks for the main character's help to search for his lover, but the problem is, who's going to be that main character in the classroom of the elite? It's probably just another coincidence, but on the day they meet, Ayanokoji was planning to borrow Farewell My Lovely from the library. However, the one who gave him that book was none other than Horikita. It might be too much of a stretch, but let's try to see Horikita as the main character, because from what happened in the newest volume, Horikita's position as the third party in this tragic story starts to make so much sense. At the end of Volume 2 of the third year arc, we got a scene where Horikita from the future said that she still didn't know about Ayanokoji's origin, about the White Room, and about the tragedy that awaited Ayanokoji at the end of his road. She realizes the dark reality hidden behind the world that she lives in, and that description fits perfectly with the main character from Farewell, My Lovely. The main character survives at the end of the story. He managed to solve the case, but was left with the knowledge of the dark world he inhabits. If Kinugasa really uses this novel as his reference, then we could take a guess that Classroom of the Elite will end with Horikita gathering everyone to corner Ayanokoji, and that is indeed one of the most possible outcomes from the battle between the four classes. The current condition between Horikita, Ayanokoji, and Hiyori is already similar to the story from Farewell My Lovely, and if Hiyori indeed asks for help from Horikita, that could open the path for cooperation between Horikita's class and Riwen's class, but of course, everything will depend on Hiyori. We still didn't know how she would choose to react to her feelings, and even if she chose to give up, Ayanokoji probably wouldn't let her go that easy. In the end, Farewell My Lovely is just a reference. There is no guarantee Classroom Elite will end just like the novel, so take everything with a grain of salt. As for romantic feelings between Ayanokoji and Hiyori, it's naive to say they will have a happy ending given the nature of Ayanokoji. Ayanokoji would probably use her the way he needs her, and expel her if he really needs to. However, the possibility is always open as long as the story is not yet over. We know Ayanokoji is a cruel and heartless person, but even Ayanokoji is changing bit by bit. And like Farewell My Lovely, we got a lot more characters to play, and a lot more time to build the story before reach the end. That's why even if the chance is really small, let's just hope for Ayanokoji happiness.